Yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm just always there.
Oh, word. I was over at his place yesterday, and I thought, if you put like Amazon Alexa and that stuff in housing and real estate, because we talk about stuff like that, and like put that in housing, up the value of a house, and then resell the house. You could have smart house tech all over the place. That's been around for a while, but not at the level that voice first or voice tech can influence it. It doesn't matter. So it's all about this changing view towards the sport and the way that actions are viewed differently from a referee's standpoint in time. It changes.
Two different referees can make a different decision for the exact same thing.
Completely differently.
Huh. And you bring up a lot of what you're doing right now is an effect of your experience of the past. The more you're seeing, the more you're practicing, the more diversity you go up against, the better you're able to make those decisions. Is there a lot of data within the fencing community? Like, data science is a really big thing right now. The more data you have, the easier it is to train these cameras, so that way we can work with Alexa to get those kind of insights. Is there a lot of data in fencing, or is fencing more of a qualitative sport where you don't have hard numbers, and nobody's really gotten massive data sets of videos yet?
So there is one team in Columbus that is trying to gather data as much as possible, and they've been doing a pretty good job of that, because I think the way the finite sport will get more tailored on in the future is to get that more information like you're talking about. There's a lot of like footage data like you're talking about, but hand speed acceleration or foot acceleration, body acceleration, like things like that, not just acceleration, but like...
You could almost, let's say I make a mock-up and I record like every single move that you've ever made, and then I turn that into a virtual reality tool where I can fence you and practice what it would be like, and it could kind of simulate. I think that, even though it might seem far away now, could be really useful both in fencing and in really anything that you do.
Yeah, any training style.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another great, I didn't even think about virtual reality and augmented reality, but that's, if you have that data and we're able to do the same kinds of things using Alexa, it's not that far of a step to be able to put someone in a virtual reality scene, and then no matter where you're at, you can practice fencing.
So they did actually make a virtual reality like that at World Championships. You put like a visor on and you're able to fence Yuki Oda, who's like, he's a Japanese guy, and he's basically the reason why I'm still fencing.
What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Yuki Oda is an incredible athlete, incredible person. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, talking to him a few times. A great guy. But what he's done is now the president of the Japanese Fencing Federation and a member of the Olympic Committee for Fencing. I think the latter, I'm not quite sure. But what he did basically is he changed it so that in Tokyo 2020, the top 4 teams in the world automatically qualify for the Olympics, making it so that in their regions, the second team, who usually gets second and doesn't actually get first, can qualify as well. So what that means is, since the United States was number 1 in the world this year, and there's a very good chance that they're going to stay in top 4 until Tokyo in 2020, in 2 more years.
That opens
makes
up
it
the chance for Brazil.
For Brazil, because we always get second. And that rule literally came into place 2 years ago for this Olympics. So honestly, I really owe it to Yuki that I'm still here in fencing and doing what I love and having a shot to go to the higher stage.
Did you get to try out that virtual reality fencing
No,
thing?
I didn't, unfortunately. I really wish I had the chance, but I didn't. It would have been really cool, though.
Okay. We've been chatting for a long time, going back and forth on Instagram, and you've owned an Alexa device for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, great.
How do you use Alexa?
Oh, yeah. So one of the first times I started using Alexa, it had me download the Alexa app on the phone. When I downloaded it, it said, "Oh, here's some cool things that you could use to start off." And one of them was a basic morning routine, start my day. And every morning, I have my little matcha tea. It's a Brazilian, it's called chimarrão in Brazil, but it's called mate in the United States. I have a little tea next to me. I have my little piece of toast, and I say, "Hey Alexa, start my day." And I take a little bite of my toast, and I have it say, "Good morning. The weather in Columbus is going to be XYZ. You can expect storms or thunderstorms for the rest of the day." And then it goes on, "Here's your management tip of the day." And it tells me something about management that, over the long term is probably going to change the way that I think about management, or some of the things that it tells me. Like today, I was talking about being empathetic with the people that you work with. If you say something in a boardroom meeting that doesn't seem to sit well physically with someone, and they squint their eyes or they shake their head or something, ask them, something I said doesn't quite sit right with you. What do you think about it? And it's just something that seems normal, that seems pretty, something that anyone would do on a regular day, but it's really putting that in your mind and thinking, okay, next time I see this and I recognize this, let me do that. It gets a little bit closer to the people that you work with, and that's a great thing to have. It's a very useful...
And it's one of the many things that you could have for your morning routine. Like, you could have this day in history and all of these different things that it tells you.
The next thing I do is have it say the news from CNN, from CNBC, different news sources, and then it says, have a good day, Julien.
What I've done, I think since the last time I talked to you, is what I do now. I'm laying in bed, Google wakes me up in the morning, and half the time I'll just say, hey Google, stop, and then I'll go back to sleep. And that's it's a bad alarm clock in that sense. But now what I've gotten in the habit of doing, I say, stop. Hey Google, good morning. And then she says similar thing. She's like, hey, great, good morning, Pat. The weather in Columbus is this. And then for me, it's like, here's TechCrunch. Here's New York Times Tech Edition. Here's Reuters Tech. And I get my tech seed.
Yeah, love it.
And then as I'm laying there in bed listening, sometimes I'll doze back off, and then a story will catch my mind. And then all of a sudden I'm like, that's new. Nobody's thought of this yet. It's breaking. And then my curiosity is going, and now I'm at.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming on. I'm curious what you're most interested in, or what you're most excited about with voice.
With voice, I'm most interested in the application and where it can go. In the sense that I was in the shower today, and I was listening to my Drake mix, whatever. And at the end of a song, it just started going into a 1.5 2 minute long ad, and I didn't want to do that. Of course, I wanted to flip through, skip to the next ad. But I was in the shower. I couldn't really go and click on my phone, and it wasn't registering. I was like, damn. Alexa, next song. There we go. We would have flipped to the next one. That's not just now. It's when people's hands are full. When
you can make a Google search while you're holding something.
Exactly. When people have a lot of groceries in their hand, they put their foot underneath the car. A sensor opens the door. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, you're carrying your groceries in.
It applies. When people are busy or they have their hands full, there's a passive way of getting knowledge. It seems like a farther way down the line, but if you can get an Alexa speaking to you when you're in the sleep, or when you're passively listening, at a point you can learn when you're getting that 8 hours of sleep at night. And that's an effective way of getting that. If you can still get your, rejuvenation that you need from your 8 hours sleep, you can learn during that time. That's something that doesn't seem too far away now.
What's your next competition?
It's going to be in Bonn in Germany in about 3 weeks. It's going to be at the Lo Van Bonn tournament every year.
Is there a name for the Lo Van Bonn tournament?
I think it's Von Bonn, Bonn, Bonn. It's near Dormagen.
In Germany?
Yeah, in Germany. It's going to be a good competition. It's going to be the first one for the team event for the year.
Have you been to Germany?
I have been. The last 2 years I went. Amazing place. Pretty cold, but it's really cool. There's definitely some nice sites around. I think Beethoven was from around there. I think. I'm not quite sure.
Thanks for joining us, King.
Pleasure.
Good luck in Germany.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Nice suit. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit late, but it's all good.
All right.